well. Like, I think it's very observable that for some reason, what, like, the USA has mostly set the tone for what happens in software,
Hmm.
and then other people just kind of copy it, again, to the extent of what's observable. And we really don't see other places in the world having their own completely separate take on software. We just see, sometimes they try to copy the business success, like, oh,
Hmm.
we're going to make our own local Silicon Valley or whatever. But people's idea of how to do that is we're going to do what they're doing over here, right?
Yeah, I'd argue that there's there's a significant difference in the way a team will tackle a problem if you hire, say, a local say a US or a UK team versus you outsource the problem to, India, Vietnam, somewhere like that. Their approach is much more, we're going to have lots of people who are low skilled. We will give them, we'll have very low expectations for what they can achieve. We won't really train them up. We won't give them good resources. And they will just produce low quality but low price code. You hire a small team of imaginative, creative people, and you
Yeah.
give them lots of resources and a luxurious environment to work in, and then they come up with this kind of concise, accurate code that does what it, whether that is
When
what
was
they
the last
actually
time
do.
that actually happened? Yeah.
But
Um,
at least that's the American model that would that's the way that Western companies sell their software
oh, sure,
expertise.
sure. And the whole outsourcing of software thing has been going on since the 80s at least, probably before that, but I don't know much about before that. And this was always the dynamic, right? I suspect that quality has gone down both here and overseas as quantity has gone up, right?
Interesting. Yeah.
And so what you get from an average, you know, Twitter programmer today is probably what you got from an outsourced programmer in the 90s or something.
Whether the outsourcing has also gone down, I don't know. But perhaps there's just regression to the mean.
Well, some of it is hard to observe, right? Because what happens is you pay a company, it's sort of the company's job to keep their thing together and deliver you something that you can use somehow, right? And so there's managers there fighting fires and deciding who is too low skill that they can't get anything out of them that's useful and whatever. And so you often don't necessarily have visibility into how many people are working on the thing or what they're doing and stuff. And so I don't know. I certainly, so in games, even companies as small as ours, in fact, maybe because it's small, we work with other companies once in a while. We like contract out things that we need to do. Usually not exactly the kind of outsourcing that we're talking about, usually to somebody that's also a relatively small company in the US or Europe or somewhere who's theoretically this high quality thing. Very often the results, even with that, are not high quality because it's not their project. They don't exactly care. They don't even,
Right.
they don't have all the context about it. They don't know.
Yeah.
They've got 7 projects that they're doing. They're making money from all of them. If yours doesn't go that well, if they overbill you and you don't work that hard on it, like,
Well, it might take a few days to think about the problem and decide the best approach. It's very difficult to bill people on having made the right decision when you could just arbitrarily pick a direction and go for it.
I
And
mean, if that works in terms of producing an actual thing in the end, then sure. But
well,
often
if
that doesn't
if
work.
you care about the outcome, so if I was going to live with the results of that decision myself and live or die on the quality of the code, I would 100% of the time advocate for sit and think about the problem, make the right decision. But if your personal incentive says we're going to be paid and gone long before the results of our decision is discovered. Why would I make my life difficult by arguing that I've been productive because of my thinking time when I could just hand in code and enjoy my weekend?
Yeah, absolutely.